Alright guys, here we are with Jimmy and Blake. We're all square the first 3 holes. Both men are in similar position here.
Okay, Jimmy Elkins there with a very great approach shot, Darius.
Oh yeah, Jimmy's obviously keeping the pressure on Blake and saying put it close or lose a stroke.
Yeah, and which shot was that for him, Darius?
That would have been his 3rd shot, I believe, and
okay.
This is Blake's 3rd shot here.
Okay.
So again, just kind of pressure's on Blake here to put it close, push the hole.
Okay, so here is Blake David with his 3rd shot, hole 4. Goes with a forehand right toward the basket, but he has about 10 to 15 feet back in.
You know, as we approach this hole, Blake told me he seems to be struggling off the tee, so I wonder if he was thinking, get aggressive here and maybe take a stroke. You know, it seemed like he gave that a good bid there. He maybe know his game's not necessarily where he wants it to be, so he's trying to take some strokes early. Maybe that's what we saw there.
Yeah, it was a very aggressive line. He had the power, but that's good here in match play because you need to try to take these holes when you have the opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. As we saw when Blake played Dave Quinn, he is a very aggressive player.
So here's Blake David with his 4th shot, hole 4. And routinely in. Should be just a drop in for Jimmy Elkins. And I think he's hoping that Blake will give it to him, and he does. So hole 4 is a push. We'll all square going to hole 5. I'll be there in just a minute. Okay, and we are back, hole 5, 240-foot par 3, matches all square. And I believe Jimmy Elkins has the tee. And he goes with a backhand turnover shot. I'm joined now by Drake Abernathy. Drake, welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much. I got to see a little bit of their match. Starting on hole 1, Jimmy took a bogey and lost a stroke to Blake. And then Jimmy managed to get a birdie on hole 2 and get it back there all square. And they pushed on hole 3 and 4.
Yeah, so it looks like it's shaping up to be a great match so far. We wouldn't expect anything less. Here's Blake David with his tee shot, hole 5.
Looks like he's throwing a maverick here.
Okay, strong backhand shot there. Looked great from my vantage point, Drake.
Yeah, I think both men are in a good spot.
Yeah, so Blake David seems to have recovered well from any sort of injury you had referenced in our preview show back before the round of 16, Drake. He seems sharp as ever this afternoon.
Yeah, he seems to be doing pretty well, but he still got the big scar on his head. You think that's gonna go away, John?
Only time will tell, Drake. But for now, I'm really glad to see him out here competing and playing at a high level. And he's going to need it against Jimmy Elkins, especially if Jimmy Elkins' putting game is on. How's Jimmy looked so far with his putting?
Neither man has been outside the circle for their putts. But
I would imagine if this match continues to progress towards hole 18, they will have opportunities to showcase those circle 2 putts. But here is Blake David with his second shot, hole 5.
This is a good tester putt right here. Now, I will say, Blake was not putting well in his warm-up.
Okay, it's up, it's wide right, so here is a window for Jimmy Elkins to take this hole and get back to 1 up.
If any of the viewers at home are wondering how Blake did get injured, a piece of metal hit him at his work.
Well, unfortunately, there's Blake David. He taps him for 3. He is not happy, but Jimmy Elkins is going to have to hit this still. So here is Jimmy Elkins with his second shot to take hole 5 and go 1 up. And he does just that. Great shot there by Jimmy Elkins. He takes hole 5 and he's 1 up. We'll be at hole 6 in just a minute. Okay, we're back, hole 6. It's a 355-foot par 3 downhill. Road to the right is out of bounds. Jimmy Elkins has the tee. And he goes with a high backhand shot there, Drake. Let's see how this breaks out. And he has about 25, maybe 30 feet back to the basket for his second shot.
30 feet.
Okay, here's Blake David. Tee shot, hole 6. And he had a good snap there on his backhand. It's breaking back toward the basket and right under it. Excellent shot there, Drake. Yeah, so Jimmy Elkins is going to have the pressure on him here to try to force this push here.
I think Jimmy would rather be where he's at than putting downhill. I think he'd take the uphill putt here.
Sorry.
Yeah, when putting downhill, that out of bounds road comes into play as well. I've definitely seen a time or two where the disc will flip on its side and roll out of bounds into the road. But that's a really bad day. But we've seen some strange things happen here today.
I feel like if I'm short on hole 6, that the putter is just so stable going off the basket.
Yeah, and just in the last match this afternoon, we had Seth Singleton win against Michael Tucker. And Michael Tucker had an unfortunate spit out on hole 12. It looked like the disc was in, and it literally went around the chains and out. So weird things here today, Drake.
Unfortunate.
But
It's kind of a gloomy day out there. Feels like it's going to rain, but none's predicted.
yeah, perfect conditions for disc golf. You know.
Yeah, no wind.
Yeah, temperature's right around 68 degrees Fahrenheit and mostly cloudy skies, so the sun shouldn't really play much of a factor in blinding any shots for these competitors. But here's Jimmy Elkins approaching his disc for his second shot, hole 6.
Closer than predicted, I think. Only about 20 feet here.
Yeah, definitely right there around 20 feet. Here's Jimmy Elkins, second shot, hole 6. Great laser putt, dead center, clutch putt by Jimmy Elkins. And this should be very routine for Blake David.
I noticed Jimmy didn't pick this one up for Blake, and Blake picked up one for him on the last hole.
Okay, so hole 6 is all square, and Jimmy Elkins won up. Okay, we are back. Hole 7 here at Woodland Park. Jimmy Elkins is one up. The last hole was a push. I misspoke briefly there, but Jimmy Elkins is one up. Both competitors have already thrown their tee shot here on hole 7.
Yeah, it looks like Blake got a lucky tree tip there, John.
Yeah, so Blake David should have a clean look at a 2. We'll have to see exactly where they end up. They're coming down the hill right now, as you can see, to the putting area.
Looks like Jimmy might have a few trees in his way. He's not terribly far out, though.
Yeah, this has been a very close match. Yeah, Jimmy Elkins is walking out towards the woods, so he will have a little bit of work to do to try to get a 2 here. Looking at probably 40 feet or so back to the basket.
Yeah, about 35 feet. Whether he has a clean look or not, we are not sure.
Okay, so Jimmy Elkins is drying off his putter, and here's his second shot, hole 7. But it's low, dead center but low, still hit the pole. It doesn't count in this modern age of disc golf.
Do you think it should count, John?
I do not, but in the old
Like how the
days they had the
game's set
pole hole. So here's Blake David with his second shot, and it's in. He takes hole 7 with a 2.
John, he barely snuck that one in there.
Great clutch putt though by Blake David, and we are now officially all square. We'll be at hole 8 in just a minute. Okay, we're back. Hole 8. It's 240-foot long, par 3. Match is all square. Blake David has the tee. He goes with a strong backhand shot there, Drake. It seemed like maybe he was trying to touch it in though, but it gets on its side and it rolls within 7 feet of the basket. Great bounce there for Blake David. Okay, and here's Jimmy Elkins with his tee shot. Hole 8. Road to the right is out of bounds. Yeah, Jimmy Elkins with a backhand, and that's looking beautiful there. And it was clean the whole way, within 10 feet of the basket. So we're definitely looking at a high percentage chance of 2 twos and a push on this hole, Drake.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be.
There wouldn't be anything wrong with that.
If I were them, I would just elect to pick up.
Skolquist, that is an option here in match play. Either competitor can concede at any point. You don't even technically have to finish your match if you don't want to, which it is interesting. It's a different strategy, Drake.
Yeah, I'm surprised Michael Tucker didn't do that today playing Singleton.
Yeah, Michael Tucker, he actually had a pretty good match. He was hanging right there with Seth. He had some aggressive putts that just barely didn't make it in. They would hit the top of the cage and then skim out. But great match with Michael Tucker, and especially congratulations to Seth Singleton, the winner who's advancing to that semifinal match. And there's Blake David, routine 2. And I expect to see the same here from Jimmy Elkins once he sets up at his lie.
Setting his bag down, pulling out his big bead, 80 yards.
And it's in. So hole 8 is a push. We're all square heading to hole 9. We'll see everyone there in just a minute. Okay, we're back live, hole 9, 247-foot par 3 uphill to the basket. Blake David has the tee. We're all square. And he went with a flex forehand there, Drake, and it's coming out very nicely, right under the basket. Great shot.
This is one of the more difficult holes on Woodland. A lot of pressure on Jimmy here.
Yeah, quite a bit of pressure on Jimmy Elkins. Let's see if he sticks to his game plan with his tee shot, hole 9. And he goes with a backhand hyzer,
Yeah, looks like it's going to sneak in there.
It's right there. He's within 25 feet of the basket, but well within his range.
Oh yeah, I think we can definitely make that putt down.
Yeah, I would expect to see him put this in. But as we've seen in the matches previous to this, sometimes these routine putts aren't as easy in these match play situations because the pressure is there, just like in a tournament.
Yeah, I think that's just disc golf. You miss some easy putts sometimes.
Yep, that's part of what makes it so exciting. And this is another one of the new trees that's growing here on the course. It looks like it's a baby dogwood tree. I'm sure it'll be quite the obstacle in the years to come in our match play competitions. I believe that's not a decision for us to make. But
have you practiced the inside route for when it grows up?
yeah, that is a true statement there, Drake. That inside route might become the preferred route if that dogwood can survive to maturity.
Yeah, I've been testing it out for when the tree does grow up.
Okay, so here's Jimmy Elkins. This is a must-make second shot on hole 9. And he is setting up. He has his lie marked, and here he goes.
Once again, he's putting with a big bead ABR.
And it's in with authority. Great putt there, Drake.
Yeah, it was a little bit weak side.
I grabbed like two nubs of a chain.
And you can tell he is excited.
He was happy.
And Blake David drops it in. Hole 9 is a push. We're all square through 9. We'll bring you the back 9 coverage in just a minute. Okay, we're back hole 10, 502 feet, par 4 through the tunnel to the road. Blake David has the tee.
That's one of the new Raiders, John.
Yeah, and that looked like maybe it was a little left of the line he had hoped to release it on, but it still made it through quite a few gaps, and he should have some sort of an approach look for his second shot. Okay, Jimmy Elkins now with his tee shot hole 10. We're still all square. And Jimmy gave it a big running throw, but it lifted up into the branch and drops.
Higher or lower, I think that would have been good, John.
Yeah, tough break there for Jimmy Elkins.
That might be a small branch, but it's definitely solid.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more difficult tee shots on the entire course, Drake. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I agree. It's interesting. I see some lines opening up to the left and the right here.
Yeah, so definitely some options. Every year, this course changes a little bit as it breaks in. This Tuesday will actually be the 3-year anniversary of this course being open to the public, and it's changed quite a bit in its young 3 years.
Yeah, we should bake a cake.
Okay, here's Jimmy Elkins with his second shot, hole 10. And he really got into that one, Drake. He has crushed it with that backhand, but it hits a tree. He will have a long look for his third shot at the basket. Yeah, great shot. So let's see where Blake David ended up here. He definitely went down in front of the short tee pad. So it'll be within 350 feet of the basket. But it's all going to depend on whether it's behind a tree or not and what sort of line he has.
Now, John, you're one of the founding fathers of Milltown. Is that true?
One of many.
And what do you think about the club's growth over the 3 years?
Well, it's grown from nothing. No one knew anything about disc golf to now we have approximately 100 members, and then plenty of other people from around the area that'll come to our events and tournaments. So I'm pleased. The foundation's been laid in the first few years, and I hope to see the club grow exponentially here in the next few. And the current board, I think, is doing a great job of moving us in that direction, and I'd expect to see us continue to progress in the coming years. Okay, here's Blake David. Looks like he's going to try a forehand shot for his second, hole 10.
Looking through his two fins, chooses this one. Looks like lucid plastic.
All right, that's looking very nice. If it can get around the tree, and it does, it's right under the basket. Great shot there by Blake David. All right. So Jimmy really has to try to run this here, I think. It's going to be a...
Yeah, and he's going to have a look at it.
Yeah, this is going to be a key moment on this particular hole, and could end up being a key moment in the entire match as we march towards hole 18.
And he's made two big putts on 6 and 9, but not quite this distance.
Okay, so here's Jimmy Elkins with his third shot, hole 10. It's up, and wow, it was dead center, just slightly low there, Drake. Heartbreaker for Jimmy Elkins.
Right on line.
But
now Blake has been known to choke. I think he's pretty close to the basket.
yeah, this is his opportunity. I believe he is within 4 feet of the basket, so I would expect him to drain this putt.
Surely he can miss this.
And it's dead center. Blake David takes hole 10 with an excellent 3. He is now 1 up. We'll be at hole 11 in just a minute. We're back, hole 11, par 3, 275 feet. Blake David is 1 up, and he takes a great forehand drive there, Drake.
I was going to say, just a little bit short. Might have got the skip up there.
Okay, and here's Jimmy Elkins. Jimmy Elkins with the powerful backhand turnover. But it goes a little long and left, Drake. He's going to have a tough look for his second shot.
Another big putt Jimmy's going to have to make.
Yeah, so this hole is 275 feet long. It's a par 3 uphill and slightly to the right. And as we just saw there with Jimmy Elkins' tee shot, if it starts breaking left along with the slope, you could end up well beyond 50 feet from the basket.
Oh, definitely. And that's the thing, you know, you can crash a forehand into it, still might roll away, and if you do a backhand turnover shot, it can just glide.
Yeah, so it can be kind of a difficult hole for a backhand player. Whereas those forehand shots, I feel like this hole really plays to those. And Drake, like we mentioned earlier, the weather is perfect out here today. There literally has not been any wind, maybe just a slight puff of a breeze at moments, but this is allowing for some pure disc golf today,
Yeah,
just to see the raw talent of these two individuals.
Yeah, definitely showing off their raw talent. Now Blake needs to make this putt here. Jimmy's
And
probably out.
Jimmy is down the hill. It looks like at least 50 feet from the basket. So he's going to have a long tester putt here to try to salvage a 2.
Now, he is putting uphill, so I believe he is going to be running this.
And Jimmy Elkins right up. It's dead center again. Drake hits the pole, but not enough height.
Yeah, I think he's hitting middle at least on every one of his putts.
Okay, here's Blake David to win the hole with a 2. And it's in. Great 2 there by Blake David. He wins hole 11 and he is now 2 up. We'll be at hole 12 in just a minute. And we're back, hole 12. It is a 270-foot par 3. Blake David is 2 up.
Oh, get off of it!
And forehand drive right into the tree there, Drake. Tough break for Blake David.
Fully commit. I was like, I should throw this other enforcer.
And Jimmy Elkins now with his tee shot. Hole 12. And it's high. And he's on the right side of the fairway. Another 50-foot approach to the basket, guarded by a lot of trees. Tough break there for him, Drake.
Yeah, not a display of clutch from Jimmy there.
Yeah, tough break for him, but yeah, tough break for him there, Drake. But both competitors are in tough spots, so it should maybe play out. Was a little bit of an even factor. Blake David with his approach shot is within 10 feet of the basket, so he should be set up nicely for a 3. Pressure's on Jimmy Elkins here. He really has to get this close. And here's Jimmy Elkins with his second shot, hole 12. And it's in. Wow, what a putt there, Drake.
Yeah, and he needed that one there, John. As we know, Jimmy doesn't have quite the distance of Blake David. And holes 18 and 14 are going to be a challenge for him.
Yeah, that was incredible there. He wins hole 12. Blake David is 1 up. We'll be at hole 13 in just a minute.
It was even more incredible from my point of view.
We're back hole 13. Jimmy Elkins has the tee. Blake David's 1 up.
Is he leaving?
Great forehand shot there by Jimmy Elkins. I'm joined here now by Darius Turrentine. Darius?
The last couple of holes, I really got an inside look at these guys. Try to get in their head a little bit, see what they're thinking. Blake is really down on himself. He's playing well, but he's down on himself, and Jimmy's definitely keeping the pressure high. Here we go with Blake. All right, Blake leaves a little wide. He told me on the last hole this is his more overstable disc, so.
Ooh, tough break there. He's right behind those trees, so he'll have a tough look for his second shot at the basket.
Absolutely, and he's really getting down on himself. He doesn't have much confidence in his putting, but the thing, John, is he's playing very well. I don't understand. I think it's all mental for him. He's new to match play, and Jimmy seems the old cat, as we like to call him. He seems to really be getting in his head.
He definitely has the experience and the ability to take over these matches.
Absolutely. He already said a couple holes prior, I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he said he's not missing another 50-footer. That he drains that 80-footer there on hole 12.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was one of the highlights of the entire tournament so far,
Absolutely.
Darius.
And we talked about this in our previous match earlier with Seth. Match play is about momentum, and Jimmy really had the momentum coming into this hole. So let's see if he can keep it up there.
Yeah, so Jimmy Elkins has an opportunity to take this hole as well. I would say he has the cleaner look at the basket. So here's Jimmy Elkins with his second shot, hole 13.
Nice shot up here for Jimmy. Really dialed his putting in. I expect to see him make this putt here.
Oh, a little high.
John, that's a surprising miss for the simple fact that putting down there, everyone leaves it low. That's such a uphill putt. There we go, Blake, for a chance to capitalize with that broke back.
Oh, he hits the band and it's rolling. We just saw 2 outbursts from both of these players. Neither one happy with what happened there.
Absolutely not. And that just goes to show what's mentally going on in these guys' heads. They both know every stroke matters, and they're both playing against really great individuals.
And they're both in for threes. So hole 13 is a push. Blake David's still 1 up. We'll be at the hole 14 tee in just a minute. Okay, we're back. Hole 14, Woodland Park. Blake David is one up. Jimmy Elkins has the tee. It's 606 feet to the basket. And he goes with a big backhand shot, but he's out in the middle of the fairway. So should be able to work with that, Darius.
Absolutely. You know, he said it himself. That'll work. Give himself an open look to the basket.
Okay, Blake David with his tee shot, hole 14.
It was worse than the bathroom. It'd be into the pavilion. Air shot.
And he's going with a roller. It nicks a tree, but it's still going to be safe in the fairway. Lucky shot there, Darius.
I'll tell you what, John. He's gonna have a great forehand to the basket from there. I guarantee you, we see him pull out that pink enforcer and slam it right up there at the basket.
Yeah, great power on that shot to be able to have the tree nick it, and it continues into the fairway.
Absolutely. You know, the craziest part, I saw him throw that exact same shot Tuesday in doubles. He was on my card as well, along with Seth, and he threw a perfect shot. Clipped that tree and it rolled a long way. I would like to see it get off that tree and see how far it really would have went.
Yeah, there's no telling where it would have ended up.
I'll tell you, he had to throw that with at least 800 foot of power, John.
Yeah, so this match is really tight.
Absolutely. Another fun fact about this match is both these players are sponsored by DZ Disc. John, I think we should start naming this the Battle of the Sponsorships. What do you think?
We certainly could. I guess whoever wins this match will get an opportunity
Just
to give a shout out to DZ.
Hypothetically, what if their sponsorships were on the line here? What if only one man could come out with a sponsorship after this match?
That would raise the stakes quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's an idea for DZ Discs for next year. Okay, here is Jimmy Elkins with his second shot, hole 14. Wow, Jimmy Elkins with the massive anhyzer there. But it's going to be out in the middle of the fairway. He'll have a look for his third shot. Probably more than likely an approach shot there, Darius. It'd be a miracle to sink it from out there.
I agree. He got a little too high. Just not enough anhyzer on it. He said it himself. He had a bit of a bad slip. You can see right here where his footprint was. He had a real bad slip there. So he's frustrated. And again, open the door open for Blake and see if he can capitalize here.
So the stakes are getting a little higher. You can see both of these players are feeling the emotion. Here's Blake David with his second shot, hole 14.
Absolutely. He looks like he has a little tough forehand line here, low gap. We'll see if he doesn't like to go a little wider with it and try to
and he hits the tree. Tough break there for Blake David. I will announce that the live stream might go dead for just a few minutes, but we'll bring it back up if that does happen. We have a spare battery on the way, so be sure to keep refreshing the stream if it does go dead.
Absolutely. It looks like our spare battery is approaching.
And we shouldn't be dead for too long.
Blake David.
Yeah, great shot there.
You know, as soon as he released that last, he knew out of his hand that it was going to be.
Yeah, we're looking at 1% battery, and I'm literally about 20 feet away from the battery.
We have a 50% chance of getting right the first time, and we do!
And we're back in business.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Speedy.
Here's Jimmy Elkins with his third shot. Hole 14. And that was a great shot. He's right into the basket there.
Absolutely. That was almost like some Jimmy John service there. Super speedy delivery or whatever the commercial says.
Yeah, so we've got both of these guys set up for
Track star in high school.
at 4.
That was our guest speaker,
Yeah.
Drake Abernathy.
Yeah, thank you to Drake Abernathy for going and grabbing a spare battery. With the double header, the gimbal died, which meant my cell phone was not being charged, and hence the bouncy coverage now. But
at least covered 2.5 miles just getting back to the vehicle, wouldn't you say?
yeah, that was great
That may be the play of the day, John.
sprinting by Drake Abernathy to save this live stream.
Better performance than I've seen out of Blake David or Jimmy Elkins today.
And this batter. And they're both in with 4s. Hole 14 is a push. Blake David's still 1 up.
Is that the battery pack not charging?
Okay, we're back. Hole 15. It's a par 3, 225 feet. And looks like Jimmy Elkins has the tee.
Should have just went low. I don't want to talk to that.
And great shot there, right down the center. He's about 15 feet from the basket. And Blake David now with his tee shot, hole 15.
No.
And it turns over. He's going to have a tough look for his next shot there, Darius.
Yeah, he just turned it over a little bit out of his hand. Shouldn't be anything to worry about. Time for him to hit a big putt here.
Okay, and now we're going to see a big shot here for the second shot. Hole 15. Let's say Jimmy Elkins definitely has the advantage here. He's a great putter and he's within 15 feet of the basket. But Blake David's also been known to make some big putts in his days. And once again, if the live stream does go blank, we will be back. This match is close, so I would expect us to be able to catch the final hole of the match to see what happens. So stay tuned. Drake Abernathy is on his way to pick up a spare battery for us. Okay, here's Blake David with his second shot, hole 15. And it is low, but dead center. Jimmy Elkins now has the opportunity to get this match all square. And it's in. We're all square. Jimmy Elkins takes hole 15. We'll be on hole 16 in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, here we go. Just finished up the match between Blake David and Jimmy Elkins. Jimmy, there was a lot of notable frustrations throughout the match between you and Blake. In the end, you seemed to pull it all together and really finish strong. What was going through your mind during the match, and how does it feel to be moving on to face the winner of Swiss and Clint?
I can't wait for that match. It's going to be a fun one for sure. You know, both of them's got big arms. Be a challenge for both of them. But today, it was a battle of attrition. Really, it was. I had to get the putter going, and I knew once I got the putter going, I felt pretty confident. No matter where I threw it, as long as I was around the circle. And unfortunately, you know, Blake just his putter wasn't with him here at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. You got your putter together, and we hope to see more of that in the match against whoever wins between Swiss and Clint. So we'll see you then.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.